our fire danger away for a little while anyway. Now we're just going to worry about those baby calves out there with possible rain turning over to snow, and we don't really know how much. So,
yeah, we're going from rains to or from fire to rains to blizzards. So it's Nebraska. It's not for everyone.
That's exactly right. Well, with everything in mind here, calving season going and the sales going on, tell us what's happened and what's going to happen at the barns, if you would.
Had 2 big days last week back at Broken Bow and Burwell Livestock. Had way up there in Broken Bow Thursday morning and Burwell Friday morning as well. I'll give you a recap what we did there. And we also had nice calf and feeder auctions both days. I'll give you a recap there. In the way-up cow division, in the high-yielding cows, we were 145 to 162 and a half. Feeding cows was 135 to 144.75. Thinner, poorer cows was 132 to 134. Heiferettes was 152 to 235, and in the bulls we were 169 up to $2. Called that market fully steady, maybe $2 higher on those feeding cows. Got in the calf and feeder market. A lot of strong demand on those calves. Go back to grass, and a lot of demand on those replacement heifers. Had in the steer division, we had some 488-pound steers at 412. Had some 564-pound steers at 373. Had some 616-pound steers at 341. Had some 617-pound or 687-pound steers at 313. Had some 820-pound steers at 273. In the heifer division, we had some 430-pound heifers at 350. Had some 455-pound heifers at 345. Had some 506-pound heifers at 337. Had some 738-pound heifers at 283. And had some 875-pound heifers at 253. Also had a handful of baby calves, and the baby calves run anywhere from $800 per head up to $950 per head. Kind of how we operated last week there in Broken Bow and Burwell Livestock. This week, Thursday, got a big special weigh-up sale in Broken Bow. Probably expecting about 700 head of those weigh-up cows in Broken Bow on Thursday. And then back on Friday, got a big calf and feeder sale. A lot of good grass calves coming out of the sand hills, good green calves, along with some really nice replacement heifers there on Friday. I'd also like to just kind of give you a couple things of note that are coming up. So on the 13th of March, we're going to have a rollover auction. This rollover auction, we're going to sell a calf, roll it over as many times as it takes, and to sell it. All the proceeds from that rollover auction are going to go to the Logan and Leah Ryan benefit. Logan and Leah, I think a lot of people know, lost their house during that cold snap due to a fire, and lost everything, lost the house included. And so we're going to have that rollover auction benefit for them. And in that rollover auction, if you need any information, you can contact myself or contact any of the Knights of Columbus there in Broken Bow, and they'll sure get you hooked up there with that rollover auction. And then also, it's with our deepest sympathies and getting a little bit choked up, but Brenda Sheets, our thoughts and prayers go out to Brenda Sheets' family. Brenda was a long-time employee of both Broken Bow and Burwell Livestock, and Brenda had a heart attack, passed away yesterday afternoon, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Brenda, and like I said, long-time employee and an integral part to the Broken Bow Livestock, so we're going to be sorely missed. Got any questions, give me a call, 308-872-1105.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. We appreciate your report, and sorry to hear about Brenda. Wonderful lady, and we'll wish that family the best, as you said. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, we continue on here on The Breakfast Show, and I think maybe the chat box is working. It was giving us some trouble this morning, so you might say hi if some of you out there sometimes drop a note, because I wasn't may be sure it was working yesterday, and it gave me a little warning this morning, click here and so on and so forth, and enter a password, and you know the routine. So if you can drop a line, do so, and we'll know it's working. Appreciate that. We do have changes due to the weather, and let's just start with the postponement of the basketball game scheduled for tonight, moved to Wednesday. Brent, you want to start there?
Yeah, we sure can. Both Sand Hills Public School and Thetford Public Schools are closed today because of the weather. And the Sand Hills Thetford boys basketball team was scheduled to play in the D2-2 district final tonight in Albion. Because of the weather conditions, that game has been postponed and moved to tomorrow night, tipping off at 6:30 in Albion. And we will plan to broadcast it for you tomorrow night now on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com.
All right. That change, and we'll watch the weather. There might be some more changes centered around that.
Yeah, well, you never know. Just don't know what's, I think, going to truly materialize today and overnight. This is what we have at this moment as far as postponements and cancellations. Ann Summermyrna Public Schools are closed today. Arnold schools are closed, no activities. Broken Bow Public Schools are closed, all activities canceled. Callaway Public Schools closed today. Their family engagement night will be rescheduled. Custer Christian School in Broken Bow closed today. Their dads and donuts will be postponed until a later date. Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Myrna will be rescheduling their pancake supper. It's been rescheduled now for Sunday, March 9th. So take note of that. Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Myrna, their pancake supper rescheduled now for Sunday, March 9th. As we mentioned, Sand Hills Public School in Dunning is closed today. The D2-2 district final with Sand Hills Thetford boys basketball has been moved to Wednesday. It's not on our list here, but I do know Thetford Public Schools are closed today as well. Sargent Public Schools closed today. Stapleton schools are closed, no activities. And this note from the Valley County Extension in Ord, Nebraska, their private pesticide training in Scotia has been canceled for today.
All right, thank you very much. We'll not have school lunch menus today due to the fact that all the schedules have changed, if not going to be held today. And I do have the Prairie Pioneer menu today, which is meatball stroganoff, mashed potatoes, carrots, and fruit. But you might give them a call at 872-6121 before you venture out in this weather. They may make a decision centered around the weather as well. It's really hard to tell because we've got 1400s precipitation as of 7 o'clock this morning, only 200s at 6 o'clock, so it hasn't been raining a real long time. But you can see on the radar that behind this rain is that snow they're talking about. But I've never really gotten a good feeling about their predictions, where it's going to fall and how much. They seem to be struggling with their models. They have a kind of a little, I guess, a statement that they are confident, not so confident, and they're not real confident right now about how much snow and where it's going to fall, because it's going to be kind of concentrated in certain areas, and how long is it going to last, how hard is it going to snow as it moves through. So the amount, I'm not sure anybody really knows exactly what it's going to be. 2 to 5, I think we're in that range right now, but could be more, heavier local amounts is the way they term that. So we're just going to have to be prepared. But you can see that snow coming in on the radar this morning. So.
Yeah, the latest map from the National Weather Service in North Platte kind of had Broken Bow right on the edge of things. If you go west and north, they're talking 4 to 6, where it could be really bad. And then you go east and maybe not even an inch. Yeah. So Broken Bow's kind of like right in the middle and right on the edge of kind of what could be really bad and not so bad. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Yeah, we will. Although we do have a very important task today on the breakfast show that I haven't told you about.
Oh.
It's Larry Leaphart's birthday today.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, happy birthday.
That's a big thing. And because we are a locally owned, homegrown radio station, we are really going to celebrate Larry's birthday today. And he's not going to especially like this, because he's not a guy looking for a lot of attention. He's kind of just likes the countryside and kind of does his seed corn thing. And He's a pretty low-key dude. But he has a relative that works here who brought up his birthday yesterday. So we're really going to celebrate Larry's birthday today. I don't know what birthday it is, but he's somewhere around my age.
Yeah.
So still going strong. So we have a lot of music from Nathaniel Rateliff this morning. That will be our feature in honor of Larry's birthday.
That one of his favorites?
Yes.
Good.
And he is a music connoisseur. I'm telling you, that guy knows his stuff. So we're going to be doing that off and on when we have time here this morning. It's also, ladies and gentlemen, a very important day, and it's kind of odd that I guess Larry's birthday is also in conjunction with this day as well. And if I can get this going here, I'll kind of get you in the mood if it will cooperate. And it's not going to. So I'll just tell you that it's Mardi Gras Day, Fat Tuesday.
Oh, all right.
So I was going to have a little Dixieland band music lined up, but for some reason it won't start. So, but the chat box is working.
Okay, well, good.
So Denise from Colorado says good morning. So
well, thank you,
morning,
Denise. Good morning to you.
Letting us know that is working. All right, let's play the game real quick, shall we?
Yeah, let's do. We're asking questions, kind of general trivia questions about events that have happened in the month of March in the past. So here's your question for today. Alexander Graham Bell was born on March the 3rd, 1847. For what invention is he best remembered? Alexander Graham Bell, born on March 3rd, 1847. For what invention is he best remembered? Your choices are the telephone, AC current, the battery, or the phonograph. Alexander Graham Bell, born on March 3rd, 1847. What invention is he best remembered for? Telephone, AC current, battery, or phonograph? If you know, call us at 872-2801.
And action! It's Dave and Brent getting the action started on the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show on KCNI KBBN.
Tumbleweed Cafe in Broken Bow offers delicious food in a family-friendly atmosphere. Open 6 until 4. Don't miss daily lunch specials and the Sunday buffet. Need a quick bite? Express breakfast is 6 to 11 Monday to Friday, and express lunch is 11 to 2. On the go, pick up a ready-to-go casserole for busy nights. For evening cravings, visit Cracker Jack Sports Bar and Grill. Open nightly from 5 to 10 with specials, appetizers, and snacks. It's all waiting for you on East Highway 2, Broken Bow.
We have Jim on the line. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, we have no real complaints.
That's good.
Yet. we
Wouldn't do any good anyway.
I know, you're right. But with this weather coming in, we all like to complain about the weather. So I think that's legal. Yeah. Here's Brent.
Big old snowflakes here.
Oh, are there? Where are you calling from?
Victoria Springs.
Oh, so it's snowing already there.
Yep, just changed to snow.
Okay. Good to know.
And I assume, Jim, that the wind is blowing there as well?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to check. All right, here's your question for today. Alexander Graham Bell was born on March 3rd, 1847. For what invention is he best remembered for? The telephone, AC current, battery, or the phonograph?
That'd be the telephone.
The telephone would be correct. And because you've answered correctly, we've got a certificate that's going to get you a free food item at Cracker Jack Sports Bar and Grill here in Broken Bow. So come on out and see us when you can, and we'll have your certificate ready for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for the weather update.
Yep, have a good day.
You too. I couldn't find the bell. My apologies, but I did find it here. So
okay. Hey, we got a winner.
We'll be visiting with Arrow Seed right after these messages.
The Breakfast Show
Don't know what I'd do without them. They're awesome.
on KCNI KBBN.
Spring sports are just around the corner, and Geared for Sports in Broken Bow has you covered. Check out their new arrivals of Skechers shoes, plus find the perfect gear for track, baseball, and softball season. Can't find what you're looking for? Talk to Scott, and he'll do his best to get it for you. They're open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6 and Saturday from 10 to 4. Stop in and find what you're looking for. 427 South 9th Avenue, west side of the square in Broken Bow. Get ready for the spring season at Geared for Sports.
Are you or someone you know struggling with depression, anxiety, trauma, or other mental health challenges? Do you wonder where you can get help and support locally? An online list is ready and available for you that includes local, trained, caring mental health providers. Visit mhpcc.org. Mental health providers and services available in Custer County can be found quickly and easily at mhpcc.org.
And we're back live here with Jason with Arrow Seed. Good morning, Jason. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. Well, the weather's moving in, as you already know. Was it still raining when you came in?
Yep.
So not snowing here yet.
Not snowing, just rain and wind.
Rain and wind. Victoria Springs already getting snow, so we can see on the radar that it is coming our way. Do you have any ice melt?
Yep, that's what I had on my list here too, is ice melt. Yeah, we'll might be running just a little bit of a sale on it too, just to help people out if we get, that snow and possibly a little ice with it.
Yeah. Do you know, Jason, is there going to be any tariffs on ice melt? Is it going to go up?
Nah, I don't think so. Not this time of year.
All
Hopefully not.
Maybe next year?
Yeah, maybe next year.
Get it now.
Yeah.
And get it now if you don't have any, because we're likely need some, depending on what the temperatures do. Right now, we're right on the edge, and sometimes that's worse than knowing it's slick outside.
Yeah, and with that wind coming, that could drift things up and turn cold pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Now, when you came out, both Brent and I noticed the water's really welling up this morning for 1400s. It feels like the streets are kind of semi-flooded along the edges. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I came from kind of the Oconto area, and even down there, there was water, standing on the edge of the fields, and
yeah, it just doesn't have anywhere to go, I guess, which we don't like hearing. We'd rather have it going into the ground.
Yeah,
but there's that chance out there of hydroplaning, folks. You wouldn't think with 1400s or whatever you have early on here in this system that you'd have that chance of that happening, but the wind's pushing you around pretty good, and then there's that water on the surface, so I hope people will drive safely.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So ice melt available, little sale going on. What else you have for us?
With the power outages last week and stuff, we were sitting in the store with no power, no lights, and those rechargeable lights all came in really handy in there.
I bet they did.
The rechargeable light bulbs, the backup lights. We sat and ran them for quite a few hours, kind of waiting to see what we were going to do for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, boy, when you go to the cupboard to get a flashlight or some sort of a battery-operated light and you turn it on and it just flickers a little, you're in trouble.
Yep.
I mean, especially during the nighttime hours if you're without power. And this kind of storm moving in, by the way, always worries us because it's going to be a heavy, wet snow this time around. And with the winds, we might have some power problems. So you're stocked up. People should stop in.
You bet. And crazy enough, we got the portable car chargers, and you can charge your cell phones with that thing. You could charge your rechargeable lights with it too.
Yeah.
It's small. I mean, it come in really handy in a situation like that again.
So you just make sure you've got it plugged in while you have AC.
Yeah, have her powered
ready
up.
to go, and it'll continue to charge the things you need.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
A lot of us can't swing a generator, but it sure would be nice to have that light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And with spring coming and the rains, people are thinking about gardens, their lawns, and been getting the garden seed in. Still waiting on just a little bit of it, but got a good supply of that already. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Could be starting seeds inside if we wanted to.
Yep. A lot of people are starting to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I know that nobody's going to be doing any fencing today, or I wouldn't think they would, but there's going to be time to be moving some of these cattle around, or other livestock as well. And I know you guys are set up for that. I've seen your display. It's pretty vast.
Yeah. Our Gallagher display is, I think, kind of second to none.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you got a springtime project, fencing project, especially like a high tensile electric fence, I'm running a heck of a sale on the high tensile wire.
Okay.
So yeah, stop on in and yeah, give me a holler and get something set up for you.
Jason, are there's any windows open yet for booking seed for planting this spring?
We're still booking seed. Our early spring sales are kind of over, but yeah, get your spring, alfalfa, oats, peas, even your forage crops and stuff better, so we have it before we run out.
Okay, very good. We just had a little loss of power for a moment, evidently up on the table. So we heard a little what we call in radio white noise, and it makes us think, already? It's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't have any of those power problems. But if we do, AeroSeed has lots of things that can help you out, but mostly make sure you have lights that work, flashlights that work, and you can help with all of that.
You betcha.
All right. And of course, the ice melt.
Yep.
Might be a good idea just to stop off at AeroSeed right away this morning and get what you don't have and what you might need.
Yeah, the ice melt will, once it starts turning warm, put it in your garage somewhere and you got it for next year.
Right. Yeah, and let's face it, it's early March. We might need it a couple more times.
Exactly. Yep.
Thanks, Jason.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
AeroSeed open at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And they stay
8 to 5:30.
8 to 5:30, and then half days on Saturday. AeroSeed in downtown Broken Bow. Well, as we mentioned, it is Larry Leaphart's birthday today, so we are playing music for Larry. We can do that here on your homegrown, locally owned radio station. I think you're going to like it.
than $20 billion worth of U.S. imports, thought to include U.S. beer, wine, bourbon, home appliances, and Florida orange juice.
From Kyiv, CBS's Imtiaz Tyab reports the Trump administration's freeze on military aid to Ukraine will have real consequences.
The Trump administration's suspension of military aid to Ukraine gives the country only around 6 months before it starts running short of vital ammunition.
The Pope is off the ventilator and breathing high-flow oxygen through tubes, but his prognosis is still guarded. CBS's Chris Livesey.
In plain English, it's still a very serious situation for a man who is, after all, 88 years old.
CBS News Brief, I'm Peter King.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Good morning, beat freaks. Who's ready to move? Let's start this day right.
Tasha's morning dance parties are meeting rave reviews.
Lose your phones and find your groove.
They need an ops manager to help their community dance the morning away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's a look at Nebraska news. In a story released by NCN, a Grand Island teenager is facing several charges stemming from his fourth DUI charge in the past 15 months. At 5:36 a.m. on Saturday, March 1st, a Grand Island police officer pulled over a vehicle that was observed to be speeding and swerving at the intersection of St. Eddie Street and West Charles Avenue. The officer contacted the driver, identified as Leonardo Castro, age 19, and noticed a strong smell of alcohol coming from within the vehicle. According to GIPD, Castro admitted to drinking alcohol as he was having a difficult night due to recently breaking up with his girlfriend. During a field sobriety test, authorities say Castro showed gross impairment and also failed a preliminary chemical breath test. A further investigation found Castro was driving under recreation and an open beer container was located in the vehicle. He was arrested and taken to the Hall County Corrections Department on charges of DUI, MIP, speeding, and driving under revocation. According to court records, Castro was convicted of 3 previous DUI charges on December 8th of 2023 and 1 on November 8th of 2024. He was also convicted of 2 counts of minor in possession charges on June 24th of 2020 and August 5th of 2022. This has been a Nebraska News Update. I'm Jack Simpson reporting for Central Nebraska's news source.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The Philadelphia Eagles will cut former Pro Bowl defensive back Darius Slay and the Bengals franchise-tagged wide receiver T. Higgins again this year. Yankees pitcher Luis Hill is being shut down for at least 6 weeks with a lat strain, and Braves catcher Sean Murphy is out for the next 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured rib. Milwaukee reportedly signed pitcher Jose Quintana. In the NBA, Oklahoma City superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 51 points and had 7 assists in a win over Houston, 137-128. Sacramento dominated at Dallas, 122-98. The Mavs' Kyrie Irving left early with what's called a knee sprain. Detroit has won 10 of its last 11 games after an easy win at Utah. Atlanta won by 2 at Memphis on a fast break layup at the buzzer. Victories for Portland, Miami, and Golden State, which won at Charlotte, which has lost 7 straight. NHL shootout wins for Washington and San Jose.
Here's your weatherology forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. A blizzard warning begins at noon today and continues until noon tomorrow. A mixture of precipitation likely today, otherwise overcast. High temperatures reach up to 42. Northerly winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. 1 to 2 inches of snow today through tonight, with another 1 to 2 inches Thursday through Thursday night. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki.
It is 8:06 let's go outside and see what it really feels like with Jack Simpson. Jack, are you getting along all right out there?
Well, I just made it outside. So far, it's so good. 36 degrees outside with cloudy skies. Winds coming out of the north from 25 to 30 miles per hour. Barometric pressure at 29.47. Humidity at 94%. And winds and rain out of way different directions than what it shows. The last 24 hours, we picked up 14 hundredths of precipitation, rounding the precipitation for this month up to 14 hundredths. High yesterday, 53, overnight low, 38. Sunrise today was at 7:07. Sunset today, 6:33. And if you're out driving, be safe.
All right, Jack, thanks so much. Get back in here where you're welcome. Get out of the water there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we remind you, too, that this weekend is the weekend we spring our clocks forward 1 hour Saturday night before we go to bed, so we'll be on daylight savings time. And we'll ask Click Family Healthcare when they come in about that because it increases depression.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
according to the report I have this
time
morning.
Ahead. Oh.
Yeah. You're going to be more depressed on daylight savings time for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
We'll find out whether the doc agrees with that or not.
I thought maybe it would help because it's one less hour to worry about.
Well, one time.
Yeah, true.
I guess on Saturday night, you're right. You're going to go, I'll have one less hour for a restless sleep.
Yeah.
Well, we'll discuss that. Maybe we'll find out whether Dr. Jacobson wants to talk about that. But I know he deals with health all the way across the board. So I think it's a fair question to ask him.
Absolutely.
Let's ask him some personal questions, too.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So in the meantime, you want to run through the postponements and changes due to the weather real quick?
I will. I've learned to do this. Let me hit the refresh button. And here's what is showing on our list. And some of Smyrna public schools are closed today. Arnold schools are closed, no activities. Broken Bow public schools are closed, all activities canceled today. Callaway Medical Clinic, Callaway, Nebraska, closed today. Clinic and South Loop Pharmacy will be closed today. That's in Callaway. Callaway Medical Clinic and South Loop Pharmacy closed today. Callaway Public Schools are closed. Family Engagement Night will be rescheduled. Custer Christian School in Broken Bow closed today. Their Dads and Donuts will be postponed until a later date. Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Myrna, their pancake supper has been rescheduled for Sunday, March the 9th. Also, this one of the new ones that just got posted, Ollie's Coffee and Boutique in Broken Bow will be closing at 11 o'clock this morning. Sand Hills Public School in Dunning is closed today. Sargent Public Schools closed today. Stapleton schools are closed, no activities. Thetford schools are closed today. And we do remind you that Sand Hills Thetford boys basketball, their district final, which was scheduled for today in Albion, that has been postponed and moved to tomorrow, tipping at 6:30 at Albion at Boone Central High School. And one other note, this from the Valley County Extension in Ord, their private pesticide training in Scotia is canceled for today.
Thank you, Brent. We will get the doctor who is in the house into the studio next.
RTA's Hardware is your connection for projects large to small, but there's so much more than hardware. Visit them for grills, smokers, home decor, countertop appliances, and outdoor living items, in addition to what you need for your projects. RTA's Hardware in Broken Bow.
You're waking up with The Breakfast Show. KCNI, KBBN Radio.
I love it. The cold and pain relief products you need for relief are on sale at Barney Pharmacy in Broken Bow. Vicks DayQuil or NyQuil Cold and Flu Liquid or Liquid Caps, as well as Vicks Vapor Rub, Vapo Patch, and Vapo Sticks will have you feeling better quick. BioFreeze Pain Relief Gel, Cream, Roll-On, Spray, or Overnight Patches are on sale. Or pick up Asper Cream Patches or Roll-Ons or Leader Brand Lidocaine Max Strength Patches too. These and many more items are on the shelves at your local pharmacy, Barney Pharmacy in Broken Bow.
10 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Dr. Jacobson is here from Click Family Healthcare here in Broken Bow, Nebraska, and Kearney. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Question right off the top here. Got a very important news release from CBS this morning. Daylight savings time can worsen your anxiety. Let me just give you some facts on this, Doc.
Okay. All right.
Daylight savings time begins this Sunday, and mental experts say it can make anxiety and depression worse. Why? Because we're getting less sleep. Experts say we have to adjust our sleep to about 15 to 30 minutes a day, and because we need to do it gradually rather than all at once. But I don't know if we have a choice with that. We're going to lose an hour Saturday. We're going to stay up later because it's going to be light longer. We still have to get to work at the same time. Is there some sort of a bill we can introduce to just leave it the same?
Actually, there's been a bill introduced, I think, the last 3 years.
There has.
Yeah.
It's like, it would be nice to leave it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Just for simplicity of it. But I think the bill, the reason it has never gotten is because you got to have all the states, contiguous states, have to do it as well.
Next to you, yeah.
We go to Phoenix every now and then, and so it's going to be 2 hours difference.
Yeah.
Starting Sunday.
Yeah.
So, if we're down there and we happen to get up and exercise with my wife's exercise group that does it at 6 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock down there. But it gets dark at 6 o'clock at night, so you go to bed early too.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's any doubt that daylight savings time can affect people's mental health. But I think it ties in with a multitude of other things as well.
Sure.
I don't think you can point to that as just the one thing that causes it. But it takes a little bit while for people to adjust. It's it's kind of like jet lag. You go overseas or you come back, and you're talking usually more than 1 hour at that point. But it takes a while for the body to readapt to it.
Well, here's a question. Take me seriously on this.
Okay.
Let's say there's flu going around. I don't know how bad it still is, but do people get down and depressed a little bit when they have the flu?
Yes, they can.
A cold?
Yeah, especially if they're not sleeping, because a lot of times when you do get sick, especially more with a cold rather than influenza, but with a cold you don't sleep as well because you're congested, so you toss and turn more, so you wake up sleep deprived, kind of like having sleep apnea. You wake up sleep deprived, and people get crabby.
They get crabby, and I would imagine there's a side effect to that, Brent. The person sleeping in the bed probably gets depressed too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or gets up and goes to the couch.
Yeah. Well, in my house, it's the elbow to get up, and you go to the couch.
You go to the couch, yeah. All right, seriously, what's on your mind today? What are we going to talk about?
Well, you said flu. We have seen a taper off in flu.
Good.
If you look at the health departments, it kind of peaked 2 weeks ago, and it's kind of starting to come down. We're still seeing some. We still had a few positives. Seem to have strep going around right now through the school systems, which is kind of odd, I think. But this weather here coming in is gonna make people sick again with the temperature change, and kids are going to be going to school with no jacket on or light jacket when they needs to be wearing a heavy jacket, and no hat when they need to wear a hat, and those kind of things. But again, I think a lot of it, kind of like we've alluded to the last couple visits, is a lot of it depends on our nutrition as well and our sleep. How well are we eating? Are we getting good sleep? Are we getting restful sleep? So that our immune system can be ramped up to take care of these things. So whether that's making sure you're eating a well-balanced diet, you're staying away from those processed foods, getting the fruits and vegetables, getting foods that are higher in antioxidants. So berries are good for that. Antioxidants help reduce inflammation, which then helps our immune system work better.
I'm going to ask you this. I ask you this every time when you talk about fruits and vegetables, I think, and good things that are good for our bodies. There's a pitch on TV and on internet, probably on the radio as well, about how we don't have time to eat fruits and vegetables. And here's a pill that will be just as good as eating that apple.
Right. I think the biggest thing I hear with my customers is I can't afford to eat healthy.
Well,
because the processed foods are cheap.
Yeah.
And if you're a young couple and you got a couple kids and you're living on a fixed fixed income, it's easy to go to Dollar General and buy 4 boxes of macaroni and cheese for 88 cents a box versus going and buying a sack of apples that's $5 or $6. So that's the biggest thing I hear is the expense of the groceries, trying to eat healthier. Fast food continues to be a driver, although fast food anymore is not cheap.
No,
it's fast, but it's very expensive, I think. But I still, when I drive home from Kearney, I go by about 5 or 6 different fast food places there. The drive-ups are always full of minivans and SUVs, so we're feeding our kids not very healthy.
Yeah, and I think we can understand budget-wise if you have a couple of children or 3 or 4 children, and you're going to have a meal, and they like it. They like the McDonald's fries, and they like those things, and so it's easy to do.
Yeah, it is. And that's the quote unquote fast food part of it. Why do kids like it? Well, because of the sugar load. And as we've talked before, sugar acts in our brain the same as cocaine, the same as alcohol, the same as nicotine. So sugar is a drug, and when you ultra process different flours, rice, soy, and sugar, the body gets that hit so much quicker that it hits the dopamine center, which is the feel-good center in our brain, and all of a sudden we want more, and we want more. And when that blood sugar drops, we want more. We start getting cravings. So
is there a difference between, let's say, and I have to ask you this because we're getting ready to have a chocolate chip cookie contest here at KCNI KBBN, as you can see here. Is there a difference between home-baked cookies and that sort of thing than buying a candy bar off the shelf?
Well, I think it really depends on the ingredients you're putting in the home bake.
Sure.
I would say yes and no. There are better options when you home bake. You can buy a dark chocolate chip that's going to have more antioxidants, going to be a few less calories. You can use like an almond flour versus a wheat flour. You're not going to get. You can use coconut oil instead of a grain oil. Grain oils the last 20 years have been a good thing. Well, now they're starting to get the rap of inflammation. So the corn, even canola, which we've always thought was better, are starting to get a bad rap when it comes to inflammation. So if you want to make a healthier cookie, you have to be diligent about what you're doing and recognize that I can't use the same ingredients that I typically would just buy over the counter.
Yeah. So Crisco's out.
People argue whether Crisco or lard, in a lot of ways are much more healthy than your grain oils.
Really?
When it comes to cooking. And I always think back to your grandparents, my grandparents, that generation, they ate Crisco, they ate lard.
Lard, yeah.
They ate bacon, they ate steaks with fat on, they fried everything. And how many people were there?
There weren't
very many.
No.
And a lot of it has to do with our physical activity, but a lot of it also has to do with it does not have those chemicals that we're putting into our foods today that makes it. Fat is gives us satiety. Fat gives food texture. So as you're chewing it, you get that feeling. If you look at something that says fat-free in the grocery store, if you look at the ingredient list, it's going to have a chemical emulsifier. So it's a man-made fat. And I read a recent article where this guy claimed that if you ate 4 fat-free meals with the chemical emulsifiers a week, you increase your risk of diabetes by 20%.
Gosh. So
again, it's those chemicals that our bodies was never made or built to process that we're dumping into our system. So, we're coming into springtime. If you can have a garden, raise your own garden. Get some chicken manure, some cow manure, pig manure, because as livestock eats grains, they poop out the micronutrients, the selenium, the zinc, the manganese, those kind of things that we need that a lot of times we don't get in today's vegetables and fruits because of the commercial farming, using more just liquid nitrogen and liquid fertilizers. The other thing is you know what pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides you're putting on your garden, which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
When you look at the overall health of our population.
Well, I think more and more people are gardening because of some of the things you talked about, plus over to the mental side of it. It's a recreation in a way. It's very relaxing to go out there and pull some weeds and
get some sunshine.
Get some sunshine, yeah. And
I don't know, in Broken Bow, can you raise chickens in your backyard?
Yeah.
There's a lot of towns that allow that. And, if you can get your neighbors convinced to all do it in one chicken coop instead of each having your own.
That would help.
You can have your own eggs, so Brent could have in his backyard for the whole neighborhood.
I think that's a great idea.
Here we go.
I would like to put some free-range chickens over at Brent's place. I don't know if free-range chickens are legal, but there's horses. There's not too far down from where Brent and I live, which amazes me. There's some cattle in the city limits and some pigs. So I don't know what the rules are, but yeah, you see a lot of horses. Chickens can be nice over in a corner in a coop. It doesn't really bother anybody. So and they don't.
You put them out, they'll eat your mosquitoes and your bugs, and keep them from eating the garden, but. Yeah, they'll keep everything else good and healthy for you.
Yeah, our old partner here, Bob Bowles, he liked to have ducks on his place around his garden because they really went after the bugs and the bigger insects. Mm-hmm. But what do you do with the duck? If you don't like to eat a duck.
And kind of tying in with the mental health aspect of it. Raising a garden, raising animals, whatever is good. We're kind of headed into that time of the year anyway, coming into springtime, where especially the farming community, farmers are very staunch and they don't want anybody to know that, they're depressed or they're having issues. And I don't think, I'm not in banking anymore and I don't really know for sure, but what I hear is the farm economy has not been that good. So heading into spring, meeting with the bankers, what's their stress level. So one thing I like to point out here in Broken Bow is that we actually have 2 different mental health offices in our building. They're not affiliated with us, but they are there to help take care of people. And mental health, depression, anxiety, all of those things. We saw a huge spike with COVID. We're still seeing some of that in our kids today, but I think especially in rural Nebraska, we don't get enough help, or our farmers don't seek help, our farmers and ranchers, when they really need to.
Mm-hmm. That can become serious.
Very serious, yes.
Yeah. And you're right. Prediction for this year, we talked about it with Farm Credit Services of America the other day. The prices look soft this year, and now we have these tariffs and all the things going on that people are scratching their heads about. It's kind of easy to get a little bit upset.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and just watching the news.
Yeah.
There's it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, there's pros and cons and yeses and nos, and this makes me excited, this makes me depressed.
Yeah.
And all in the same half hour watching the news.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
My recommendation is to watch the news,
I was telling Brent, I've went to C-SPAN for the political news because you don't have a commentator spinning it. Mm-hmm. And then talking about what they said for a half hour and analyzing it to make it fit what they want to get across.
Their narrative. Yeah.
But I have to say, sometimes it's very boring. It's still a little bit of baloney along with it, but it's straight baloney, Yeah, because you have the different sides. But yeah, with a lot of things right now going on in this world can depress you. Let's just be frank about it. Mm-hmm. You won't only take so much of that in, right?
Yeah, and that, I think, like I said, we saw a big surge of that with COVID.
Yeah.
Because people, it was kind of the fear, I can't go out. And, kids, I was talking to Jack out in the lobby, he was the first year of COVID that, they said we actually got to have a graduation where a lot of kids didn't have a graduation. Yeah. We had a prom where a lot of kids didn't have a prom. And, I look at the students at UNK that are in medicine, there was a PA class and a nurse practitioner class that really didn't get to do any kind of clinicals.
Mm-hmm.
So they go out in the world, and I'm sure their confidence level is not where they want it to be, and so then that adds stress to their life, and that adds to depression. And so it doesn't take much to look around just in your community and find people who are a heck of a lot worse off than you.
That's true.
And just being kind goes a long ways.
Oh, very good.
You know, a smile goes a long ways. This idea of you don't believe what I believe, so you be damned. Somehow we've got to kind of turn that around, and I think it's lessened in small towns, but it's still here.
Yeah.
Whether it's Broken Bow, Myrna, Sargent, Callaway, wherever, it's still around.
Yeah, still people who were unfortunately once friends who don't get together anymore because they're afraid they're going to have a conversation about those disagreements. And
right.
That's not healthy.
And again, that leads to anxiety, that leads to depression. And, this weather like this.
Yeah.
Why do people in Seattle, Washington, why are they more depressed than people in Nebraska? Weather. Gloomy, cold, humid. And I kind of thought of that coming up this morning. It was, we're pretty lucky. We don't have this very often. Yesterday was kind of one of those days where it's like, man, this is like living in Seattle or Portland, where if I lived here, I'd really be depressed.
Yeah.
If I had to live with this 8 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So I think people just being aware of those kind of things can help them. If you have a spouse, you have a partner, make sure you're communicating. Those kind of feelings, because the worst thing you can do is not communicate, but then that starts building barriers, and why do we see more divorces and those kind of things?
Yeah, and we just was talking here a while back, Brent, some information we had that this is the peak time of year for divorces. Oddly enough, January and February, maybe March will get better, but in the United States, the higher percentage of divorces are in this time period. Because of probably what you just said.
Well, I think a lot of it is that. A lot of it is, we're going to get through the holidays for the kids, and then after that, we're going to put our separate ways. A lot of it is financial.
Yeah.
People max out their credit cards, and then after the first year, it's like, my God, how are we going to pay for this? And I mean, we even see that in our business, where we'll lose 50 to 90 customers in January, February that one, just can't afford us, or two, they'll get insurance, and so they don't feel like they can have insurance plus pay us, which is a misnomer, because we actually have more people with insurance, but they're high deductible plans, and so financial stress bears a lot
really
on our mental health.
I saw a story just a couple of days ago, kind of fits into what you've talked about here on the air, Doc, several times. I think 40%, actually over 40% of bankruptcies in the United States of America are related to healthcare cost. So people who have major illnesses or, cancer, heart, all those sorts of things, who weren't insured somehow, 40% of bankruptcies in this country are due to health care situations.
Well, if it's 40%, that's down from what it has been.
Is it?
Typically, it's up in the 60s.
Okay, I think this was upper 40s.
Yeah, so that's down maybe from what it used to be, or from what it used to be. I haven't seen that. But yeah, we used to always talk about 62 to 65% of all bankruptcies in the U.S. were directly related to healthcare costs.
Either one of those percentages is wrong.
It is. And, the problem with our healthcare system is the people that need it the most are the people that get charged the most. So if you say you're on a name brand drug and you have commercial insurance, you can get a $5 or $10 copay card. If you're on a share plan, which financially may make better sense for you, you can't get that. If I don't have insurance, I can't get that. We used to. Our uninsured people, when I was in private practice in the fee-for-service world, it's like, okay, what are we going to bill uninsured people? And it's like, well, let's bill what Blue Cross Blue Shield, what they reimburse, that's what we, and my argument always with my partners was, why aren't we billing what Medicare would pay, or Medicaid? Because they really need, that's where these people are, they need to be on that. Yeah. So, our healthcare system is twisted as far as backwards when it comes to helping the people that really need to be helped, or penalizing them instead of helping them. And by no means am I for socialized medicine or that, but I think there has to be some level for us to be able to provide care for people who, are disabled, who are injured, who cannot work. Again, we go to Phoenix every now and then, and, this time of the year, there's a lot of homeless. And you see young kids, that I'm sure are dealing with some sort of a mental health or a drug addiction, just the way you watch them act. But then you see people that are, older that we saw a gentleman that had his leg below the knee amputation in a wheelchair, and this lady's like 75 years old pushing him, and he's like 75. Those people don't have anything. They're not out there trying to game the system.
Right.
We have to have something to help them. Yeah. And I'm not going to get into my political views or your political views or Brent's, but we have to have something to help those people. But they're the ones that get penalized the most.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's pride, and it kind of goes back to the farmer that's struggling mentally. It's the pride. We see it more with men than with women, because men they're the tough guys and they don't want to show signs of weakness. But mental health it's a huge thing when it comes to people's overall health. And I talk to my customers a lot about, we were talking about groceries being expensive or this being expensive. With health, you either pay for it monetarily when you're young, or you pay for it with suffering when you're older.
Yeah.
And nobody thinks about that until they get diagnosed with that first chronic disease. If you look at healthcare statistics, the U.S. always gets compared to 19 other industrialized countries. From birth to about age 57, it's a very tight band on cost. At 57, we go up exponentially to where we're spending 2.5 to 3 times the next nearest country, where the other countries go up very slowly, gradually. And the question is, what happens at 57? And that's when we get our first diagnosed with our first chronic disease. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, first stroke, first heart attack, first joint replacement, first diagnosis of cancer. And so that's where we see our healthcare costs. So we spend our healthcare dollars being reactive instead of being, the other countries spend their healthcare dollars being preventive. So, when you talk about the amount of money we spend on pharmaceuticals compared to what we pay in the U.S. to what they pay overseas. Same drug.
And Doc, what worries me there too is what you said is true, yet our small pharmacies in rural areas of the country they're making it difficult for them to survive.
Exactly. Yep. And that's why you see more and more family physicians and private practices selling out to hospital systems, because it's harder for them to survive because of all the overhead and red tape and all of the quality metrics that they have to follow. And when I left Omaha, we had our own what we called ACO, Accountable Care Organization. We had 37 metrics for Medicare that we were our doctors were supposed to check at every visit. There's no way. There's really about 5 that make a difference. What's your blood pressure, what's your cholesterol, what's your A1C, do you smoke, do you drink, do you exercise? That's really the main things that's going to determine our health.
Yeah.
But the quality metrics were really based upon, are you prescribing drugs? So is your diabetic on XYZ drug? Not are they getting better, it's are they on this drug? And so when you look at the way our healthcare system is structured with Big Pharma and with the hospital systems, it's hard to compete. But these regulations that get put in, only those systems that have deep pockets are the only ones that can afford to hire 3 or 4 people to do this stuff in the back room.
Yeah. Well, I think folks can tell when they listen to our conversations that you have an alternative as far as healthcare goes. Click Family Healthcare is a different animal for people out there to consider.
It is. And, the thing with our model is that I don't care if you're rich or poor. People will argue that, direct primary care, you're just cream of the crop is who you're taking care of. And, I've had people in my office that didn't know where their next meal was coming from, sitting beside somebody who's worth $25 million. A farmer that's got 10 quarters, or owns a business of manufacturing or business in Kearney. So it doesn't matter to us. I don't care, whether yellow, green, white, or black. Doesn't matter. I don't care. But our healthcare system puts people into buckets, and we discriminate based upon those buckets.
Yeah.
And it's not the doctor's fault. It's not the nurse's fault. It's not the clinic's fault. It's the way our system is structured, and that comes from Big Pharma, comes from the hospital system, comes from our government.
Insurance.
So, insurance is a huge player of it.
Yeah.
In Obamacare, insurance companies are required to pay out 85% of all their premiums are supposed to be paid out to their policy holders. Well, how do you make the 85? How do you make the 15% bigger? That's your profit margin.
Yeah.
You raise premiums. They don't care what the premium costs because their 15% is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and their overhead really doesn't go up any.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with, it was an invite to come and see a politician about the time that that was being debated, the Obamacare. And I asked, and kind of was a pointed question, and this was kind of happening at the time, in order to get that passed, President Obama really was dealing with trying to get it through with those insurance companies' blessings. So there was all sorts of things that that plan didn't originally have in it, but in order to get it through, concessions were made to the insurance companies, and it diluted the whole idea.
Yeah, it was destined to fail the day it was signed. The original idea of Obamacare was to put health care back into the primary care, the family physician, the internist, the gynecologist, the pediatrician, and then Big Pharma and the Hospital Association got involved, and then when the concessions were made, that really was stripped out of it, and so it was destined to fail the day that it was passed, and we've seen that failure.
And it was diluted to where it wasn't what the plan was anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So, before we close, you have some notes there?
Well, one thing, we touched a little bit on it, that we were talking with a PA. Well, we have hired a PA. Her name is Rachel Berger. So she's from Kearney. She has lived in Kearney 20 plus years. Her husband's a tenured professor at UNK. And she's got 4 kids and has taken the last 12 years off just to raise her kids, and now has come back into the workforce. So we're very excited to have her join us. It's going to, we still haven't decided what we're going to do hour-wise, but we're looking at possibly some different programs, maybe having like a woman's health package to where, women that need to get their mammogram, their pap smear, we'll just do that specifically for a cash price versus, in lab work versus them having to pay a monthly membership. We're just looking at all different kind of ways that we can expand our services, but yet keep kind of within our model of providing better service at a cheaper price.
Fantastic.
Kind of a thing.
Good.
Sports physicals, we've had a few kids that have popped up needing sports physicals for track, for soccer, those kind of things. So we're always available for those. And then the last thing I had was just farmers are going to start working on equipment, be safe. Start tearing stuff apart, putting them back together, just make sure you're safe and don't get crush injury or break some bones.
Yeah, it's a big equipment anymore.
Very big.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Always enjoy the conversations. And Dr. Jacobson's actually let me walk into his clinic, Brent, and so it is true he accepts everyone.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
I wasn't sure where that was going.
I wasn't sure where it was going either.
All right. We'll take a time out with these words.
Optimize your feeding routine with Vermeer feed wagons. A strategic design makes them a good fit for operators looking for a wagon that's efficient to use and maintain. Power Solutions is proud to offer the Vermeer Feeding Solutions lineup. With 6 models available, Vermeer feed wagons allow the flexibility to blend rations with various ingredients and effectively distribute a consistent ration to your herd. Vermeer feed wagons, where simplicity and flexibility meet. Stop out and visit Power Solutions 2 miles east of Broken Bow on Highway 2 to learn more.
Are you worried about fraud? Join Bruning Bank for an informative lunch and learn on fraud and fraud prevention. In just 1 hour, you'll learn about the latest scams, how to protect your personal information, and keep your finances safe. This free event is your chance to ask questions and get expert advice from Ryan Sothen from the Nebraska Attorney General's Office and Bruning Bank staff. The public is welcome to join us at the VFW in Broken Bow on Tuesday, March 25th from 11:45 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call Bruning Bank at 8.
It's predominantly dry land, pasture land, and cropland. Rex Mahoney has all of the details. He will be at the Cardinal Inn and Event Center in Albion, Nebraska to answer questions. But once again, hard ground pasture land and cropland sells today for the Nebraska Community Foundation. This land auction is online starting at 10 o'clock this morning. 11 o'clock today, we have 158 acres of Reno County, Kansas land that will sell as well. And at 1 o'clock this afternoon, Fayette County, Illinois land will sell to the highest bidder. This property will sell in 3 tracks. Then on March the 5th, that's tomorrow, folks, a big equipment sale. Over 1,300 items will sell to the highest bidder. Some of our featured sellers include the Carter Farms Partnership, Craig Anderson from Wakefield, Nebraska, Hardington Tree LLC from Hardington, Nebraska. We have Justin Cavan from Cedar Bluffs, Nebraska, selling some items. The Patrick Frazier Retirement Sales in Winterset, Iowa. Also, the Wayne and Mary Stoltenberg Retirement Sale in Grand Island, Nebraska, featuring 68 items, will be conducted here on Wednesday. They have a Wilson Pacesetter Tri-Axle Grain Trailer, a 2016 model. They'll be selling a 2011 Case IH 7088 Axial Flow Combine. A Gearinghoff Cornhead will be sold on this sale. Just a very nice lineup of farm machinery that will sell by Grand Island, Nebraska, for Wayne, Mary Stoltenberg on their retirement sale. Also a retirement sale for Don and Georgine Spahn. This sale takes place in Ohio, Illinois. Plus, we have the Kenneth Willman sale in Morrill, Nebraska. Roger Dietz from Papillion, Nebraska, selling a like-new New Holland Power Star T475 mechanical front tractor with a loader. This machine has 93 hours. Van Dawson Farms Partnership, they're retiring. They're from Lexa, Arkansas. They have 55 items selling on tomorrow's online auction. Once again, folks, we have got a great lineup of machinery and land selling this first week in March. Thursday is the B-Lick Farm Retirement Sale. This auction is in Kentucky. Also on Thursday, there's 160 acres of Boone County, Nebraska land selling for Deborah Nichols Silvernagel. This particular property, folks, is located northwest of Newman Grove, Nebraska. This is dry cropland and some pasture. Dennis Fowkes and Rex Mahoney are handling this real estate transaction in Boone County here on Thursday. So on Thursday is the Bohaboy Farms Retirement Sale by Dodge, Nebraska. 79 items. Excellent, well-cared equipment, a John Deere S670 combine, John Deere R4038 self-propelled sprayer, John Deere 8320R mechanical front tractor. There's a John Deere 1795 MaxEmerge 24-row 20-inch planter, late model balers and support equipment. This sale is on Thursday, March the 6th, here on Big Iron. E&M Farms in Kentucky will sell on Friday, March 7th, an outstanding lineup of equipment. John Deere S670 combine, John Deere 8310R tractor, a Peterbilt 389 semi-truck. It's a 2012. John Deere 24-row 20-inch planter. It's a 1795 series again. This machine sells on Friday this week, along with another whole outstanding lineup of agricultural supporting equipment. So that's just this week's list of equipment. And then we have so many retirement sales, 45 different retirement sales. Over 600 sellers selling here just in the next couple weeks on the Big Iron website. If you want to be a seller and you want to expose your equipment to the hundreds of thousands of people that monitor Big Iron every week, pick up the phone and give us a call at 402-276-2077 or toll free 1-800-937-3558. Everybody have a great week. Thank you very much for using Big Iron.
The music to get your day started right.
I listen every morning.
The Breakfast Show on KCNI KBBN.
Hi, this is Andrew Mason with Pearson Physical Therapy, where we believe you should always receive the personalized attention you deserve. We use a collaborative approach to work together so we can help you achieve your goals. From post-surgical rehab and sprains and strains to back pain, arthritis, sports injuries, and everything in between. Come talk to us at Pearson Physical Therapy in Broken Bow, 872-5800, or visit our website, pearsonpt.com.
Melham Medical Center in Broken Bow, large enough to serve, small enough to care. They are proud to bring great doctors to the specialty clinic to help you, like Dr. Pullman, the urologist who can diagnose, treat, and manage urological disorders, or Dr. Islam, a nephrologist specializing in kidney care and treating diseases of the kidneys. Dr. Pullman visits the third Tuesday of the month, and Dr. Islam visits the first Monday of the month at Melham Medical Center in Broken Bow.
I'll make that 9 minutes. 9 minutes before the hour. Good to have you along. Love Local. This year, we gave away $775 in gift cards, gift certificates, and chamber bucks in partnership with area businesses. So thank you for shopping local this year. We hopefully highlighted the fact that there's a lot of great businesses for you to walk into and do business with. And when you do that, you do yourself a favor. Those businesses will be around to serve you for many years to come if we shop at home. And wherever you're listening from, wherever you're located, the town nearest you or the one you're in is where you want to do as much shopping as you can. And we appreciate you doing that in 2025, and we appreciate the businesses that we featured. Now, we had a couple of businesses that coupons are not going to be picked up. We were told Earl's Glass in Cozad and A1 Auto in Arnold. So if you're listening and you want to grab those cards or one of those cards, call Kristen at 872-5881 and tell her you'd like to pick up that card and use it, because they will not be picked up, and we'd like to get those used. So if you want to get something done on some windows in your car or have those lenses cleared up on the front of your car, you've got a $25 head start there. And of course, A1 Auto and Arnold can do just about anything on your cars and trucks. And if you'd like to save $25, those were not going to be picked up by the contestants. So call Kristen and let her know you'd like to have those. But we did enjoy the giveaways this year again, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you. Now, here's Brent. Here's Brent with some more information for you.
Yeah, let me hit refresh on the closings here. We do have one new posting that came across here recently. This is Loup County Public Schools in Taylor. They are now posting a 1 o'clock 1 o'clock dismissal today for Loup County Public Schools in Taylor. So Loup County Public Schools in Taylor showing a 1 o'clock dismissal now for school today. As we run through the rest of the weather-related announcements that we have in front of us, and some of them are public schools, again, closed today. Arnold schools are closed, no activities. Broken Bow Public Schools, all activities canceled, school is closed. Callaway Medical Clinic, the clinic and South Loop Pharmacy are closed today. Callaway Public Schools are closed. Family Engagement Night will be rescheduled. Community Connection in Broken Bow closed today. Custer Christian School in Broken Bow closed. Their Dads and Donuts will be postponed and moved to a later date. Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Myrna announcing that their pancake supper has been rescheduled and moved to Sunday, March the 9th. Ollie's Coffee and Boutique in Broken Bow, they will be closing at 11 o'clock today. Sandhills Public School in Dunning closed today. Sargent schools are closed. Stapleton schools are closed. Thetford schools closed today. Valley County Extension in Ord announcing that their private pesticide training in Scotia is canceled for today. Also, we do remind you that the D22 Boys District Final basketball game between Sandhills, Thetford, and Wausau scheduled for today. That's been postponed because of the weather, and they have rescheduled that for tomorrow night, tipping at 6:30 at Boone Central High School in Albion, and we will broadcast that for you tomorrow night now on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com. Because of the movement of that game, our broadcast schedule is changed a little bit for tonight here on KBBN Radio, since they have moved the boys district final that we were going to cover and are going to cover now tomorrow night. We will broadcast Nebraska men's basketball for you tonight, since we have the opportunity to do that big game for the Huskers as they go on the road to take on Ohio State. Tip-off for the game, 8 o'clock. Coverage will start on the Huskers radio network at 7 o'clock tonight on KBBN Radio.
All right, thank you very much, Brent. Appreciate that. This just in on our chat box, which is working. The Exchange 2 will be closed today, so we'll add that to our closings. Exchange 2 will be closed today. Also, Patsy, who drops a note in every once in a while, says, thanks for the health discussion. You bet, Patsy. And Reed says, I'd like to thank you for your excellent and eclectic taste in music. I still listen to my CDs in the truck, but you've introduced me to many new artists that I've discovered on KBBN. Well, appreciate that very much, Reed. Today, we are celebrating the birthday of Larry Leapart, who is also a music connoisseur, an expert seed guy, and farmer and entrepreneur. He's also a relative of someone who works here at the radio station, so he gets a little extra pull that way as well. So we're playing one of his favorites today, artist, Nathaniel Rateliff, and this is one for him and one for you folks out there.
KBBN, Broken Bow, Nebraska. CBS News Brief. Mexico joins China and Canada in retaliating as President Trump's tariffs on their imports go into effect. Correspondent Vicki Barker.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has just said Mexico will respond to the 25% tariffs imposed by the U.S. by slapping retaliatory tariffs on certain U.S. goods. But she won't announce which U.S.-made products will be affected until Sunday.
Trump is also playing hardball with Ukraine, pausing all U.S. military aid that had been promised during the Biden administration. Alexander Mereshko is a member of Ukraine's parliament.
I couldn't imagine in my worst dreams that Trump would be cutting off military aid to Ukraine when we need it so much.
In New Orleans, partiers have far outlasted the forecast bad weather to celebrate Mardi Gras on Bourbon Street. CBS News Brief. I'm Peter King.
Do you enjoy fatty foods, sweets, and alcohol? Who doesn't? Unfortunately, all those things put a lot of pressure on our liver. That's why pharmacist, best-selling author, and nutritional expert Sherry Torkos recommends Active Liver from New Nordic.
The liver is an incredible organ. It works nonstop to process toxins and chemicals from our food and drinks, medications we take, and even environmental exposures. As a health expert, I'm often asked how to support the liver's natural detoxification process and offset the effects of fatty foods, sugar, and alcohol. I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. This gentle plant-based supplement is an effective way to support your liver's vital functions as well as your energy and overall well-being.
With its powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, Active Liver is the perfect way to keep your liver healthy and you feeling your best. Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The Philadelphia Eagles will cut former Pro Bowl defensive back Darius Slay and the Bengals franchise-tagged wide receiver T. Higgins again this year. Yankees pitcher Luis Hill is being shut down for at least 6 weeks with a lat strain, and Braves catcher Sean Murphy is out for the next 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured rib. Milwaukee reportedly signed pitcher Jose Quintana. In the NBA, Oklahoma City superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 51 points and had 7 assists in a win over Houston, 137 to 128. Sacramento dominated at Dallas, 122 to 98. The Mavs' Kyrie Irving left early with what's called a knee sprain. Detroit has won 10 of its last 11 games after an easy win at Utah. Atlanta won by 2 at Memphis on a fast break layup at the buzzer. Victories for Portland, Miami, and Golden State, which won at Charlotte, which has lost 7 straight. NHL shootout wins for Washington and San Jose.
Here's your weatherology forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. A blizzard warning begins at noon today. Mixed precipitation likely changing to all snow today. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 42. North winds 30 to 40 miles per hour. 1 to 2 inches of snow today through tonight, with another 1 to 2 inches Thursday through Thursday night. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki.
Nebraska State Bank, leading, serving, growing. Since 1917, their integrity and passion have enabled them to offer innovative products, deliver superior service, and make local decisions for their customers. Visit nesb.bank or visit one of their area locations.
Back live here on the show, it's 9:04. Our temperature's 34 right now. Cloudy skies. We've had rain. We did have reports of snow in the Victoria Springs area. And where you're listening from right now, you could have either or a mix of those two. Please be very, very careful out there. We're right on the edge here now, getting down to 34. We're going to be in that zone where it could be slick, it could be just wet. So be very, very careful out there. And these winds are really pushing things around here at 25 to 30 plus miles per hour. So be very, very careful out there, please. Had 1400s precipitation at 7 o'clock this morning. I don't think it's rained as much since that time as it was raining between 6:30 and 7, but there are reports of snow out there in some areas and a mix of rain and snow as predicted. And you look at the radar and it's looming on us here.
Yeah. And, you know, we keep talking about the precipitation. What will it do? Man, these winds, I mean, they're to continue to pick up right through the course of the day. I'm still seeing, 60?
Yeah.
65 miles an hour? My gracious.
That's awful. Well, going from the frying pan into the cooler here. But
yeah, we've had a mix of it the last 2 weeks, haven't we? I mean, whether it be weather-related or non-weather-related events that have been taking place, it's been kind of a crazy couple to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
man.
Historic to say the least in some cases. Also, another historic event coming up, mentioned it earlier, is the Chocolate Chip Cookie Challenge.
Oh, boy.
The KCNI KBBN Chocolate Chip Cookie Challenge. And I have an idea. I want to throw it past Jeremy here.
Okay.
If he's not in the recording room, I'm not sure.
He might be. The door is shut, but I don't know who's in there.
All right. I bet he is. So I'll save that. Maybe he'll come out.
Sounds good.
I want to add a little bonus to it if he's okay with it. But if you enter the contest when it's announced that it is underway, you could win, in first place, a KitchenAid tilt head stand mixer.
And I hear this is like super nice, like one of the top of the line mixers. Yeah.
And second place is a big cookie baking prize package, which includes bowls, cookie sheets, and spatulas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw a little bit. Well, I don't think Jeremy will have a problem with it.
Okay. Oh, you going to make an executive decision?
Maybe I shouldn't.
Oh.
I should, but I shouldn't.
Oh.
And I don't. I want to.
Okay.
The devil in me just wants me to go ahead and do it, but I want to talk to Jeremy about it.
Okay. That seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to
Not necessarily the Dave thing to do, but the right thing to do. I'm proud of you, Bernie.
I'm trying to do better. I really am. If weather permits today, the Goodwill truck should be at Gary's parking lot. And they also, now this may change, but they have Ash Wednesday services scheduled at Our Savior Lutheran Church at 7 p.m. tonight. The community's invited. So right now that still, as far as we know, is on. And don't forget about the fish fry. On Friday, the Knights of Columbus famous fish fry will be at the Myrna Community Center from 5:30 until 7. And they have prices, kids up to 4 are free, 5 to 11, $6, ages 12 and up are $12. And so that's taking place Friday. The next week will be at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Broken Bow. And I think there might be a fundraiser with that for the Ryan family.
Oh, good.
Too. But that doesn't say that here. Probably don't have that in the information we got. But in talking with the Ryan family, there was upcoming events that were discussed, and that was one possibility. So be listening for that. We do know that on Saturday, for sure, the Burger Bash benefit for Logan and Lee Ryan and their little girl to help with expenses after they lost everything in their home and the contents in the fire on February 20th. And this will be held this Saturday at the Ansley Municipal Auditorium from 5 until 7 p.m. And don't forget, you can make monetary donations at all the Nebraska State Bank locations. And you can also just mail your donation to the bank and designate that's what it's for. And you can do that quite easily. But, of course, take in the Burger Bash if you can this Saturday, 5 until 7 p.m. at the Ansley Municipal Auditorium. Yeah, I really want to talk to Jeremy about that chocolate chip cookie challenge.
You wanting to know if you're eligible?
I know I'm not eligible.
I'm here. Are we going to be somebody's got to judge this if it's going to be a chocolate chip cookie contest. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to have judges, right?
Yes.
So are we going to get to eat these when they come in?
I imagine, but I don't. It's just like judging at a barbecue. You really have to separate you just can't eat one cookie and the next right away. So I don't know how that's going to work because you got to clean your palate, maybe have a little sip of milk in between cookies, give it a little time.
I know for me, one cookie won't be enough to make my decision. I'm excited about that.
Well, here's a recommendation. pace yourself.
Okay. All right. I'll try to.
Take this one bite out of the cookie.
All right.
Taste it, and then set it aside, and you can eat the rest later.
That's a good idea.
Eat the whole. If we get a lot of entries and you eat all the cookies to test them, you might have a sugar overload. This in from Sean Simpson. Can my wife enter the cookie contest? I'm sorry, Sean. She is not eligible.
Oh, well, yeah, their son works here.
Yeah, Jack's mom cannot enter. Although, we will give her a AAA scoring for the cookies that she brought in for us to enjoy.
Nice.
They were delicious. Man, they were good.
Yeah.
It tasted like real cream in them, you know. I don't know if that's the case, but it's going to cost a little bit more to do this because egg prices are pretty high.
Yeah, they are still, aren't they?
If you use eggs in your cookies. Now, a farm in New Hampshire has started renting out chickens.
Renting out the chicken.
Yeah. Now,
okay.
This sounds a little questionable, okay? They're renting out chickens to help people with the high price of eggs. For $600, they'll give you a couple of hens that can produce about a dozen eggs per week for 6 months.
Oh.
The family farm is also providing information and lessons on how to feed chickens properly and so forth, and they'll do that over your phone for customer service. And they say that most people almost always rent the same chickens twice. So if they rent them once, they want the same ones. They put bracelets on the birds so they can be rented to the same people. A dozen eggs cost an average of about $5 to $6 right now, so I guess it does pencil out. Plus, you get the fun of getting to know the chickens. I just hope they don't switch the tags. Like maybe if a chicken turns into chicken noodle soup, that they just don't put a tag on another chicken.
Well, you would hope not.
Yeah. Now, I remember, you won't want me to go there, but I remember when you and Shelley first, it wasn't a date, but it was the first time that you got together was at our Christmas party many years ago.
Please don't bring this up.
Up at Brewster. And we drove through ice and...
It was awful. We shouldn't have been on the road.
We shouldn't have went.
No.
And we had quite a good time in downtown Brewster. And that wasn't really your first date. But do you remember where you took Shelley on your first date? Did you go have a meal, or what did you do?
We went to the theater in town and saw Last of the Mohicans.
Oh, that's a good movie, too.
Yeah, I think that was our first date.
That was your first date?
Uh-huh.
So here's a list of top places. If you're getting ready to go on a first date out there, and you're asking a lady out on a date, here's a list of what no woman wants to do on their first date. Chili is out because it's too messy, and nobody should be sharing dipping sauce with a stranger. Applebee's is also on the list because it's a family restaurant and not a date place. The one place everyone agreed to as a no-no is the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
It's way too upscale and puts too much pressure on the daters. Where should you go? That's for you to figure out.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know about I don't quite get the chili. Chili is out because it's too messy.
Well, are they chili, or you said Applebee's, right? Are you talking Chili's restaurant?
The restaurant,
yeah,
Chili's
the restaurant.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So they have dipping sauce with a stranger there. Yeah, you got to be careful about that. Some people aren't real comfortable about, dipping in the same container. And certainly on a first date, you might not want to test that.
Yeah.
Now, Brent and I have been watching the series, and my wife as well, and your wife, I assume, Reacher.
Oh, yes. I've been watching Reacher.
And Neely is a character in that show. She doesn't even want touched.
No.
She will not allow anybody to touch her. Yeah. So a first date with Neely would be a bit difficult.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right. It's Larry Leaphart's birthday today. And I pulled this one up. This is not one we have in our playlist, but I think it's one that you might like. It's called South of Here, Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats for Larry Leapart on his birthday here on KCNI KBBN Radio. These kind of guys, Sturgill Simpson and others that we have in our playlist here. And as our liners are saying, which Jeremy has worked up, we're different because it's fun. It's not boring. Every day is a little different. You probably will not hear the same song on the whole day's schedule unless it's some sort of an accident. We don't play repeats. And I work on that every day, making sure that you don't hear the same song over and over again. And there is a philosophy out there that you should play the same songs over and over again, but boy, life is way short for that. What's not going to happen and what's going to happen, Brent?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's hit the refresh button on our announcements. One of the newest ones to come in, Arcadia Public Schools has posted now that they will dismiss at 1 o'clock today. Run buses at 1 o'clock. Arcadia Public Schools dismissing at 1 o'clock today. All right, let's just go through the entire list now as we have it here. Again, this is what we have been informed of. And Summermyrna Public Schools closed today. Broken Bow Public Schools are closed. All activities canceled. Callaway Medical Clinic and South Loop Pharmacy in Callaway closed today. Callaway Public Schools are closed. Family Engagement Night will be rescheduled. Community Connection in Broken Bow closed. Custer Christian School in Broken Bow closed. The Dads and Donuts will be postponed and moved to a later date. Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Myrna has rescheduled their pancake supper, now scheduled for Sunday, March the 9th. Loup County Public Schools in Taylor, a 1 o'clock dismissal now for Loup County Public Schools. Ollie's Coffee and Boutique in Broken Bow will be closing at 11. Sandhills Public School in Dunning is closed today. Sargent Public Schools are closed. Stapleton Schools are closed. Thetford Schools are closed. Again, a reminder, the Class D2-2 Boys District basketball game between Sandhills, Thetford, and Wausau, which was scheduled for tonight at Boone Central High School in Albion, that has been moved to tomorrow night, tipping off at 6:30, and we'll broadcast that for you tomorrow night now on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com. Also, Valley County Extension in Ord, Nebraska, asking us to announce that the private pesticide training in Scotia is canceled today. And I believe that Dave had a note in the chat box that the Exchange 2 is closed today.
It is
Is
closed.
that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think those are the announcements that we have for you at this time.
All right, thank you very much. Want to talk a little bit about Circle V Stitching Post, located on the north side of Broken Bow at 43920 Paulson Road. They offer personalization of garments and hats and all sorts of other things because they are a creative, well, they just like putting creative things together for you for baby showers and weddings or other gift ideas. Velma also carries a big line of letter jackets for school jackets, and she can personalize that for you, add a little extra to that. Contact her for also putting your brand or your farm name on apparel. She carries shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve polos, hats, and more. Don't forget about those cowhide coasters, rugs, and table runners that you can have personalized with your brand as well. She can put something together that you're going to love. Just give her a call at 872-6173, 308-872-6173. And you can probably, that's the best way to reach her. Set up a time where you can come out. She's got a lot of things in stock for you to look at. Again, that's 43920 Paulson Road, Circle V Stitch and Post at 872-6173.
A job opportunity being posted right now on sandhillsexpress.com. Check out the employment page. High Street Insurance and Financial Services in Callaway, formerly J.R. Meyer Insurance, is hiring. Come join a relationship-driven independent insurance agency as an insurance client services representative. You would be the first point of contact for clients handling their day-to-day questions and other support services. You would assist in the production of new accounts and the retention of existing accounts and provide prompt, efficient, high-quality service to designated accounts in support of producer activities. Individuals should have excellent written and verbal communication skills, enjoy striving toward goals, attentive to the detail, flexible to adjust to the needs of the day and client, and are team-oriented. To apply and to find out more, you can contact High Street Insurance and Financial Services in Callaway. For a look at the full posting that also lists requirements and some of the benefits you would receive with the position, you can check out the full posting on sandhillsexpress.com. Just go to the employment page.
Thank you, Brent. And a reminder, I think Brent's talked about this a lot this morning because this has just changed, programming change, due to the change in the basketball game that will not be aired tonight because they've moved it to Wednesday. This allows Brent to bring you Big Red.
Yeah, we'll have Nebraska men's basketball on the air for you tonight now as the Huskers go on the road to take on Ohio State. A huge game for the Huskers. They're still kind of in the mix for an NCAA tournament. Bert, they're also trying to qualify for the Big Ten tournament. They're kind of on the bubble for that even. So this is a huge game, and we'll broadcast it for you tonight on KBBN 95.3 FM. Airtime at 7 o'clock, tip-off just after 8.
Have a feeling there's going to be some more changes due to the weather today, depending on how much snow falls with that wind that's already out there and it's going to increase. So if you have changes that you would like announced here on the air, info@Sandhills Express is your email address to do that. And Kristen will be watching that email throughout the day, posting those changes, and then the guys will get it up on the air for you as well. So you'll be covered both on the internet and on the radio. And you can, of course, you can call in and do that at the front desk as well. Then after hours, info@'s the way to go, because we'll be monitoring that. And I'm sure that we'll be seeing some changes if this forecast holds. And it looks like it's going to.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess.
All right. Now, we still need to get Jeremy in here because I still need permission. I don't want to go ahead and ask for forgiveness later.
Really?
No, I'm not going that way. Because I don't like it when, it happens to yours truly.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, I did this. Is that okay? I don't like that.
Okay.
So just a hint to the rest of the staff,
yeah. By the way, Jeremy and I pulled off to have dinner coming back from the district game that we did on Saturday night, and we charged it to you. Guess I should tell you that.
Sturgill Simpson to close out the hour musically for Larry Leapart on his birthday. We did get Jeremy out of the studio just for a moment. He's in there producing quality commercials and who knows what else. I'm trying to butter him up a little bit.
What's coming now?
Well, you got this chocolate chip cookie challenge coming up, right?
Yes.
And I don't think there's a start date as yet. I suppose it depends on we get the sponsors and so forth. Is that where we're at on that?
Yeah, I'm bordering on getting some promotion stuff out there, hopefully today.
Oh, gosh, I'm glad I caught you in time, good friend. I would like to, with your permission, add to the prizes.
Okay.
I would like to add $500 in the prizes. But that $500, whoever wins it will designate that to a local charity.
Oh, okay.
So if they're Cookie's Place or however you want to put the $500 in there, I know it's not on your sheet. You can make it third place if you wanted to. I don't care. But $500 will donate here at KCNI KBBN to the charity of that person's choice.
An established charity or a cause that's going on right now, or?
Yeah, like the playground, that's their inclusive playground they're working on. You could say, I want it to go to the foundation, Custer County Foundation, to be used for scholarships or,
a local fire department.
Very
right?
good, yeah. Fire department.
Okay.
Or just supplies for the fire, whatever they want to designate, we'll write out the check.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, we can. Okay. Yeah, you caught me just in time.
I did.
We're going to make all the graphics and everything today.
Oh, fantastic. Well, see now.
Hopefully.
Brent, I asked permission. I didn't ask for forgiveness, and it's all worked out.
I think you would be asking for forgiveness if I made all the graphics already.
And then had to go change
them. Start over. And my newscasts for tomorrow are all empty at the moment now, so we'll see if this comes together or not.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm glad I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. And, I don't know, everything has been going on here lately. If we have a little chance to make a difference, if it's monetary or, helping your neighbor out when the snow falls, somebody come over and help an older man scoop his walk, things like that would be nice.
I feel like that older man has more equipment to his use than maybe some of his neighbors do.
Yeah, I do, but I'd like the exercise, and especially if you can do it together with the neighbor.
Community bonding moment.
Yeah, kind of both have sore backs together.
I've got way too big a snowblower for the small amount of snow that we've received several times this year.
Yeah. Well, you might get to use it here. Another round coming in on Thursday. This is going to be a different snow. It's going to be wetter and heavy. So we might get out the snowblower. And then Brent could run that. Have you ever run a snowblower before?
Not often. Once or twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd let you run mine.
Oh, well, thanks, Dave.
So yours a 1-stage, 2-stage, 3-stage?
It's a 3-speed.
3-speed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Low, medium, high. You don't get a high very often because then it kind of plugs up.
Yeah, it can't keep up.
Yeah. This is a good neighbor, Ted and Judy Bailey's snowblower that we're given to use to help the neighbors out. I've only made it over to Brent's place a couple times. Because I got to take it across the street. If I'm in low speed, I could get run over.
Yeah, I know. You want to be careful.
By the way, there's somebody up in our neighborhood that might get their tires shot out here pretty soon if they don't slow down.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you right now, this neighborhood is not a racetrack.
Wow.
You better put a speed bump out there or something. You know what Nicole's dad used to do when they lived in Bennington? They'd be playing in they had the basketball hoop in the driveway or whatever.
Yeah.
When they would wear out a basketball or a soccer ball or whatever, it went into his own tub of them. They lived on a busy street up by the water tower in Bennington.
Yeah.
And people flow up and down that street fast to this day. I think there's speed bumps there now, but at the time there weren't. But he would sit there, and while the kids were playing in the driveway, he'd have his tote of balls next to him. And if someone came cooking down the hill from the top up by the water tower, he'd reach down, grab one of those balls, and he'd just throw the ball out in front of the car. That sure got him to slow down pretty quick. They either A, thought they ran over some poor child's basketball, or B, they not put on the brakes and
slowed him down.
And it slowed them down because they quickly realize how fast you're going when something like that occurs.
Yeah.
It's not until the point that it does often that we figure that out.
Well, I will raise my hand as guilty. When I was first driving as a teenager, I look back and, some of the speeds you drove in residential areas were ridiculous. Now, as you're older, you go out. If you're now the old guy, you go, slow that thing down,
They're trying to combat that. If you folks haven't read the story in local news on Sand Hills Express this morning, they're adding 15 various stop signs throughout Broken Bow. They increased the speed on the road where you turn west by the former Gary Superfoods all the way to Tomahawk. It's currently at 15 miles an hour, which I think it was said during the meeting last night. Probably 98 out of 100 cars that drive down that road go faster than 15.
Yeah.
It used to be 25, which is what the residential speed limit is, but they raised that back up to 25.
25, yeah.
Because it's lit. I don't think you can idle at 15 miles an hour once you get rolling.
You can't without the barriers, as you say, the bumps. That slows you down.
Put a bunch of stop signs around. They waived the 3 readings, or didn't waive the 3 readings.
Did not.
So they're going to be doing some discussion on this in the coming city council meetings. But a bunch of stop signs around the library area, a couple near the square, one right there by Bruning Bank, coming from north to south to help with truck traffic by the square. So they want input is the number one message here. So if you have an idea on whether a stop sign will or will not work, they want to hear from you.
Well, I think most people would say, hey, that's okay. I'm just guessing now. But I will say, this is an observation I've made. Where we do have stop signs, there's a lot of delay there. Now, let's say somebody's across from you and they have their blinker on and they're going to make a turn and you're going to go straight. They're supposed to wait for you to go straight before they make their turn, I believe. There's some confusion on that, I've noticed. So I would allow an extra 5 to 10 minutes if you're going to go through there to the post office or going to work, because there's times that people are just going to sit there and look at one another and try to decide who should go. It could be a time element there. It's amazing how sometimes, and then even sometimes when you don't have the right of way, they'll signal you to go ahead and go. I think maybe we just need to refresh ourselves on who goes at a stop sign, a 4-way stop, or where you have a through street and a stop sign on each side.
I think in order to keep our driver's licenses, we should. I'm the kind of person who, like, when it comes to driving, and Brent will tell you this, like, man, it is just not hard to know how a 4-way stop works or the right-of-way or all of these things that we learned back in the day. Like, maybe every 5 to 10 years, maybe we should have to retest in order to be re-granted our driver's license. Well, I'm sorry, you've got cars in your garage at home. You're not going to be re-granted your driver's license because you don't know how to drive it.
Exactly, Jeremy. And by the way, you have blinkers. You can use your blinkers if you now I'm a little guilty of that. My wife catches me every once in a while when there's like you're downtown on a Sunday and there's not very much traffic, and I get lazy and don't use my blinkers.
That's you, huh?
Yeah, I've done that before. Probably last weekend.
I think the words I speak in my car more than any other words are, oh, nice blinker. Ironically, it's none it's used.
Well, they used to say in Custer County you don't really have to use your blinkers, but that's not true. It's just, I don't know. And we used to wave to everybody. Everybody used to wave, that little 1-finger or 2-finger wave when you had a hold of your steering wheel. That's kind of gone away because of tinted windshields, tinted glass, and cell phones.
People just aren't waving at you because you're not using your blinker. They wave at me.
Or they know who I am. They're not going to wave. I know. Well, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I don't have any problem with stop signs. I think that's better than coming up. You're supposed to yield to the person on your right. if there's no stop signs, and I don't think that works very often. So stop signs would help, especially with that truck traffic you're talking about.
The biggest one is coming in 9th Avenue from the north off of Paulson Road up there. I think Jack's going to wear his neck out over there. Our whole conversation over here, he's just, his head's going constantly. It's cracking me up. That 9th Avenue coming in off of Paulson Road out that direction, it's only a block and a half removed from North Park Elementary over there.
Right.
And, man, people fly down that road. My wife happens to have had a run-in with lawn. It's a hard road. You go from 45 miles an hour immediately to 25. All the way down the hill. It's very hard. And that stop sign will combat that.
Yeah. And that would be like where the Presbyterian Church is?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy to get to going too fast on that road and then realizing, oh, wait, it's way slower.
That would become a four-way stop. It's a two-way right now.
That's a good idea.
It'd be a four-way stop.
Well, I think that makes sense, actually, but the people are going to have input on it.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Now, you've kind of stayed out of the conversation, Brent. Are you on your island?
No, I'm just listening.
Because we're not saying where stop signs should really be put. We're just saying we're going to have to learn to use them.
Yes, and come to a complete stop when we come to them.
And oh, by the way, crosswalks.
Oh,
if you remember taking your first driver's test, I remember it clearly, to get that license when you're 16. And you made sure you pulled up, there's a stop sign, and there's a crosswalk.
Yes.
You stop before the crosswalk, then you move forward if there's nobody walking across the crossway, and then you look both ways and pull out. We're the worst in, I don't know where we'd come in the country, but we wouldn't be scoring very high as far as honoring crosswalks in this community. It's dangerous to be walking sometimes because people just don't pay attention to crosswalks. And for some reason, I think a lot of times they think they have the right of way. And if you're driving a car and you run over somebody in a crosswalk, you're going to be the one that's going to be punished.
You pull into a crosswalk in New York City, you're getting your head dented. Even
Lincoln or Omaha, and larger places, the crosswalk is the pedestrians. You don't mess with them. Here, you go, well, I got about a 1 in 3 chance of getting across there. And especially on Highway 2, going across from the old Baptist church or where there's not a stoplight. There's nobody that hardly ever stops at those crosswalks. And technically, if there's somebody waiting to go across a highway, you're supposed to let them go, but it doesn't happen very often. It's an interesting study on our culture here in Custer County.
Yeah, deep dive.
Yeah, thank you. Deep dives are fun. All right, so $500 will be awarded to one of the winners of the cookie contest, and they'll designate where that $500 will be donated to a charity.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep.
Thank you, Brent. It's been a real pleasure working with you today.
Thank you, Dave. Pleasure has been all mine.
Oh, stop. Let me get the right button here. Here we go. Be listening for postponements and cancellations throughout the day on KCNI and Sandhills Express and KBBN.